Now we have ayaṃ dukkhasamudayo'ti, yathābhūtaṃ pajānāti. One understands in a deep way, as it is, ayaṃ dukhasamudayo'ti. So this T is marking off what is being understood. We said that it's the same as before here. And we might call it the second noble truth or the second truth of the noble ones. It's the same basic form, but notice here we aren't now talking about dukkha, we're talking about dukkhasamudayo. And samudayo is a nominative, it's nominative, but it's masculine nominative, singular. So when the Buddha uses a demonstrative pronoun, it is also going to be masculine nominative, singular. This is dukkhasamudayo. And samudayo is an origin. And we could just in English say this in order. This is suffering or uneasiness origin. It doesn't completely, or it doesn't really zero in on the meaning. So one thing about compounds is if we can, and usually we can, we want to determine what type of compound it is. And this is what the native grammarians call a tapurisa, meaning that this word here is in some case other than the nominative, or it's not in the same case as this part of the compound. There are compounds where they're in the same case. That's a dabanda, where you would kind of separate it as A and B or something like this. This one, we have to figure out on our own what the relationship between these two words is. And it would really be something like dukkhasamudayo. In other words, there is the origin of suffering or of dukkha, and probably better just to leave it as dukkha, as we've already said. So that's how we're getting, or that's how we're arriving at what this means. Dear listener, if you have some other explanation, I would be very interested in hearing about that in the comments. So the third truth is ayaṃ dukkhanirodho'ti. One understands in a deep way as it really is, or as it is, ayaṃ dukkhanirodho. So now the Buddha is telling us that this is nirodho, the cessation of dukkha. And again, same exact relationship. If they were written as separate words, we would expect dukkhanirodho. I always like to point out that in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, that this is it the second sutra or third? This is part of his definition of what yoga is. It's the yogaśchitta vritti nirodha, the cessation of like the mind waves. If you want to think about it like that, the turbulences of the mind, the vrittis. So anyway, it's just interesting that there's a kind of a correspondence there talking about cessation. And then in the fourth truth, ayaṃ dukkhanirodhagāminī paṭipadā'ti. So we can start here. Now I said ayaṃ is masculine nominative singular. It is also feminine nominative singular. And this word here, paṭipadā'ti, is feminine nominative singular. And it is a path. You can kind of see that in this word pada, related to foot. So there's a path. And then what kind of path is there? There's a gamini path, a path going to or leading to. And this gam here really shows the root of the very well-known verb gacchati. It's not too difficult to remember that. A path, and so this is really functioning as an adjective. That would make this, one way to describe this would be a bahubihi. A path leading to, and then the rest of this is just the same. Nirodha is the cessation of dukkha.